Today I am coming to you guys with a long-awaited video, at least for myself. If you have seen, I'm not sure if I actually did a video showing my Too Faced chocolate bar palette, but I recently got this probably a couple of weeks ago, and it has it has quickly become my favorite palette ever. I've been using it for all of my makeup looks that I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and a co-worker of mine actually told me that online there's a new chocolate palette. So as soon as I got home, I ran to go look, and what I saw was the most beautiful, different type of chocolate palette ever. And when I ordered it online from Sephora.com, it was only open to VIB and VIB Rouge members, which I am. So I went ahead and quickly ordered it so that I could get it and review it for you guys. Here it is. This is not going to be a true unboxing because I have used it probably once. Yes, I got it yesterday. And I just wanted to keep the packaging so I could show you guys. It's really cute. It has like pink polka dots on it. And I know I have seen a couple of reviews of this palette, but it's always hard for me to discern whether or not people are giving their true opinions, because it seems like a lot of these products people are given, and I know people put the FTC disclaimer at the bottom and say these are my true opinions, but the more people who get sponsored on YouTube to do beauty videos, the less likely I am to believe everything they say. So I always take everything with a grain of salt. So that's why I wanted to do this comparison video for you guys, because it is my 100% unbiased opinion. I don't get paid or sponsored to do any videos, and if I did, I would still be truthful, because I don't want anyone to waste their money just because I'm getting money for it. So when you open it, this is what the palette looks like. Immediately upon opening it, I will say that mine had two little scratches on it right above the C. I'm not sure if you can see them. It's not a big deal. It's just probably a flaw from packaging or shipment, but it's really about what's inside the palette, not on the outside. But it is really cute. It's a lighter version of the chocolate bar palette, which I will show you in a second. And when you open it, it actually comes with another glamour guide. Yes, a how-to glamour guide with some featured eye looks and step-by-step instructions on how to duplicate them on your own self. I don't even know if I will actually use these. I don't really use those step-by-step things. I just kind of like to do whatever I want. So this is what it looks like when you open it. You have a very large mirror, and it actually... Is my lipstick messed up? You have a large mirror that says semi-sweet chocolate bar, and it does have a film plastic covering on it. I will not be taking it off because I can still see the mirror and see myself in it with the film on it. So the first thing I noticed about this palette, which I am very excited about, is the fact that they actually printed the names of the colors on the palette itself. That is my #1 complaint with the original chocolate bar palette, which isn't really a concern for most people, but for me, like if I want to do a tutorial and I'm using a specific color, I don't want to have to fidget with another piece of plastic. But once again, that's not really a huge deal, but it is nice to have the actual shades printed on the palette. So off of first glance, I can tell that these colors are a lot warmer and darker. I don't think you have the amount of variety with this palette as you do have with the chocolate, but I will give you the names of the colors. You have licorice, cocoa chili, rum raisin, coconut cream, pink sugar, mousse puddin, caramel, nougat, blueberry swirl, bonbon, truffled, peanut butter, butter pecan, hot fudge, and frosting. I did film a tutorial for this look that I did today, and I actually used truffled, puddin, mousse, and rum raisin. So that'll be included at the end of my little comparison. So, you know, off of first glance, I am happy with the palette, but it does look like a lot of these shades are similar. and they will probably look similar on my skin tone. That's another reason why I also wanted to do this overview slash review for you guys. A lot of the ones that are up on YouTube right now are from girls who are more fairer skin, and I wanted to show my darker skin gals and guys what the swatches of these colors actually look like on different skin tones. So overall, I really love the colors that are in this palette. I think that they're nice. I like that they're warm. I think that this is a more everyday type of palette than the chocolate bar. And all these colors except two, which everyone has talked about, are really nice, and those two would be Pink Sugar and Blueberry Swirl. You'll see in my swatches, Blueberry Swirl doesn't come out that vibrant at all. I'm thinking maybe if I foil it or something, or use like a really good primer, maybe it will look nice. And Pink Sugar is just like a dusted iridescent shimmer. It would be nice on top of the other colors, so that's how I'm going to use Pink Sugar. But now let's get into the details of this palette. Now that I've shown you the good stuff, it does retail for $49, which is the same price as the original chocolate bar palette. When the original Too Faced chocolate bar palette came out, the packaging was probably twice the size. They then repackaged it to be a lot slimmer. So the semi-sweet chocolate bar has that slimmer packaging. I purchased mine a couple weeks ago, so of course it is slim as well. So these oh, also I did hear that the Too Faced semi-sweet chocolate bar palette, this one, is not going to be coming into Sephora stores. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I did hear that, which I think that's kind of a disappointment. I think a lot of times when companies come out with subsequent versions of palettes or products, it's nice to be able to see both of them in store, where you can actually touch them, see them side by side for your own self, and make your own judgment on whether or not you want to buy it. So if this palette doesn't make it into Sephora or Ulta stores, that will be kind of disappointing, because for a lot of people, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you have the chocolate bar, you don't really need the semi-sweet. If you are a makeup collector or makeup obsessed like I am, maybe you'll want to go for it, but I don't necessarily think it's that imperative that you have both. And honestly, I think I like the colors in the original chocolate bar palette better. But like I said in my other video, I'm trying to rebuild my neutral eyeshadow collection because I think a lot of my shades are old. Now I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison of the two palettes. This is what they look like on the exterior. This is what they look like side by side. And if you want to see them for longer, go ahead and of course pause your video. One thing I do want to note is that the backgrounds of these two palettes are different. So the Too Faced chocolate bar has a lighter background of the actual palette, and the semi-sweet has a darker background. So immediately looking at them side by side, you may think, oh, these colors are darker, but that's just because the background is of course darker. Now the colors in this palette are a lot cooler and darker, but you do have more variety in this one. And this palette includes some shades that are really chunky and kind of hard to apply with fallout and such, and you don't get those in this one. I really like this palette. It is very similar to the original chocolate bar palette, but I think the tones in this palette are a lot darker and are more suited for fall or winter. I think you have a little more versatility as far as colors go with the chocolate bar palette, and I do think that for people around my skin tone, these shades will pop a little more than these, because these shades are a little darker and cooler. I am excited though to film some tutorials with both palettes just to see what kind of looks I can get. I know I used this palette today, and I will include a little get ready with me video at the end, and I really love the butter pecan shade, the highlighting shade on the bottom. It creates a nice contrast between my skin. So yeah, other than the fact that there are two colors in here that I will probably not get too much use out of, I really love this palette. I'd probably give it 4 stars out of 5, whereas I would probably give this one 5. I think if you are lighter skin, fairer skin tone, this one will be excellent for you. If your skin tone is more like mine, on the darker side, you might get more use out of this palette just because of the variety of shades that you get. But overall, I'm happy with both of them. Of course, I didn't need another chocolate bar palette, but it's hard for me to stay away from new items. And another thing I want to mention is that the closure on the semi-sweet chocolate bar palette is not as secure as on the chocolate bar. This one has a light magnetic closure where it doesn't really stay closed very well. The chocolate bar palette has a very strong magnet. So if you are going to be traveling with this palette, I would take note of that. Maybe stuff it between two softer items or wrap a headband or something around it just to kind of hold it in place. I hope you guys enjoyed my overview and comparison of these two chocolate bar palettes from Too Faced. Stay tuned for the swatches. Just to quickly go over these colors that I have swatched on my arm. This is in Natural Daylight with no sun directly shining onto my arm. I also have no primer on my arm, of course. I'm going to start with the shade right here. That's going to be Licorice. Next is Cocoa Cream. Then we have Nougat, Truffles, and Hot Chocolate. The next row, we're going to start at the far right. We have Rum Raisin Mousse, Caramel Bonbon, Butter Pecan, Cocoa Chili, Pink Sugar, which is this color right here that you can barely see, Pink Sugar, Puddin, Blueberry Swirl, which we all probably thought was going to be a lot more intense, Butter Pecan, and Frosting. Those are all the colors from the palette. I know I didn't swatch them in order because I'm not good at swatches, but I did want to give you kind of live swatches, and I am going to pull up the shade in my room just so you can see them in direct sunlight. So this is what they look like. I hope you guys are able to just kind of get a feel of how the shades differentiate between different skin tones, what they look like. Like here's that color Bonbon, I believe. See how it kind of looks pink and shimmery? That's one of the really nice colors. Also Rum Raisin, which I'm wearing today. I really love that color. It reminds me a lot of Satin Taupe. So while these colors aren't too bright and different, they are pretty, and you do get a nice variety of shades. Okay, so now let's get into the semi-sweet tutorial. The first color I'm going to take is Mousse, and I'm going to use that as a transitional color and a crease color. Then I'm going to take Truffled, and I'm going to use that to further deepen up my crease area. The next color I'm going to take is Puddin, and I'm going to use that as the main color for my eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to go in with Rum Raisin, and I'm just going to put that on like the middle of my lids to give a little shimmer and a little pop of color. Then I'm going to go in with Nougat and blend out my crease area so there's a softer line. And for my highlight, I'm going to be using Butter Pecan because I felt like it gave a nice little shimmer effect. So after that, I just go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.